Bobcat Nation. Al Weston here once again for the Bobcat Coach's Corner. And unfortunately, it's the final one of the 2011 season with Hope Clark. Thanks for joining us, Hope.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, Coach, the season's come to a close, and our last regular season game down at Flagler had a good, strong first half, and things got away from us in the second. Unfortunately, came out of there with a loss. That put us at the 8th seed and going into the Peach Belt tournament. And gosh, you know, this league is just so tough. That's not a spot you want to be in. You head to Armstrong, the regular season champs. I really think you gave it a good go earlier this week on Tuesday. And how did you feel about the effort from your young squad on Tuesday?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it was one of our strongest games by far this year. And you know, the girls really, I had asked them, you know, we need to go in there and compete. I just want to see what we're made of. I think we've proven time and time again this year that we can pretty much play with anybody. And, you know, we really had a strong game. I was really proud of the girls. And I think they were proud of themselves. It's always tough to lose and finish your season no matter what. But I think they were proud of themselves. And I know Armstrong was a little nervous there.
Well, you could tell it was much like every soccer game. It was a game of some flow to it, where they controlled a lot of the possession early. We couldn't hang on to the ball. And then once you got towards the end of the first half, it really seemed like the confidence was starting to build for you folks and starting to wane for the Pirates. The longer that you let a team in, the more trouble that you're looking at is potentially losing. So as that first half is coming to a close and you're starting to see a bit more confidence from your young squad in the most important game of a lot of their careers. What were you thinking heading into the half? And as we almost gave one up with just seconds left, but you know, going into the half, what type of things did you say to the crew at halftime to try and get them going in half number 2?
Well, you know, in the first half, we were really playing into Armstrong's game, which is a very direct game, and that's not our style at all. You know, we really need to put the ball down on the ground and just play to feet. And the couple of times that we did get into their attack, you know, into their defensive third, in the first half, there was some sheer panic from Armstrong. Our counterattack is extremely strong, and you know, we could find that once we got in there and we moved into that attacking third, that some good things were going to happen. And so we focused on that going into halftime. And I'll tell you what, I felt like we had, you know, a good run of play in that second half and a lot of possession, some good opportunities. I think if Haley O'Hare, she had a couple of breakthroughs, and maybe if she'd finished 1 or 2 of those, that would have been, you know, icing on the cake. And then Britt Bohr had a, you know, a fantastic, you know, look at the goal too. So, I mean, some good things happened there. And, you know, I just told the girls, hey, we can play. And we knew that Armstrong was kind of, you know, getting on each other, really. When we got into their half, they were kind of fighting amongst themselves in a little frustration there. So we tried to just take advantage of that and just keep pushing and keep our confidence high. I mean, we were playing well. We were taking a battering there in the first half, and I think Taylor Cornelius had to come up with quite a few saves in that first half. And we were certainly, I think, outshot. And we were hanging on for dear life at some times, and Jamie Colcor cleared that off at the goal line there in the last second. So it was a great team effort, and those are the things we talked about going into that game is, you know, you've got to take it for the team, you know, close down, no shots, no service, and, you know, if your goalkeeper comes out on a breakaway, get in the goal and work for him and clear that off the line, and we saw that. So we had talked about a lot of that going into that game, and just the sheer effort for working for one another, and it just shows what this program's about and kind of how we progressed all year.
And the lone goal in the game, of course, scored by one of the top scorers in the conference, in Christina Pascotti. There was a breakaway situation, didn't quite get it cleared enough, and she just had an alleyway going through the middle of the defense. It just, you know, you play for 90 minutes and you had a 30-second breakdown, and it came back to hurt you. Just a 1-0 contest. But the play of those folks in that game, I really think, you know, you see it all season with you know, so many contests of, you know, 1 goal difference and that type of thing. But this was, I think, really the best effort that you got from this squad really all year, and, you know, taking on the toughest competition and really stepping up. Taylor Cornelius, of course, you mentioned. I think she had 14 saves, which is a season high. I mean, she was just busy, and played really almost a perfect game back there. Why the choice to go with Cornelius instead of you know, you have multiple choices back there, and you've kind of been flipping flopping folks back and forth. Was her big foot what you were looking for to help the offense?
No, not at all. Actually, Annie Stevens had kind of sealed up that position, and but she had a bit of a debacle in the Flagler game, and you know, I've been basing everything on performance, and that's what I pride myself on as far as my coaching philosophy. And you know, you've got to be on your game or someone else is going to have that opportunity to come in. And Taylor Cornelius had lost her position a couple of times throughout the season because of performance. And so Annie kind of in a sense had lost her position due to performance. I had the discussion with her leading up to it. Annie's extremely mature, and she was accountable for her mistakes and flagged her. And she said, "Coach, I completely understand. I think you need to go with Taylor." And so we went ahead with Taylor. And so if I'm, sticking by my regimen as far as, how we were doing throughout the season and where players were getting playing time, then we went ahead with Taylor. And, I was proud of her. That's what I told her after the game. She had a fantastic game. One breakdown, maybe handled that breakaway a little bit better. And, but things that we need to work on as far as, her technical ability.
Awesome. Well, looking at, you mentioned the maturity of your young players. These are two freshmen you were talking about, and the ability to share time, take accountability for some of the mishaps that have occurred. This has been somewhat of a difficult season record-wise, and the morale and things. You never really lost it. What does it say about this young squad? And again, looking forward into future years, now they've got all this experience. I got to think the sky's the limit for these folks.
Yeah, it really is, and that's what we really talked about going into Armstrong. Is I said, guys, we're 0-0 now. Doesn't matter what the record was before, but you had 21 games of experience as a freshman. Every single player in this program played this year. Not one kid did not play and played a hefty amount of time. So even to get your third goalkeeper into some games is fantastic. So, that experience is, what I really hope is going to pan out next year. We did have the toughest schedule probably in our region. As far as strength of schedule and probably one of the top in the country. I think if we get to look at some of those numbers later, as we get into this tournament. So, I really tested our program, and that's my own philosophy. I always play a tough schedule, and I think some great things are going to happen next year. And certainly it only bodes well for us that we had 25 girls with a ton of experience this year.
Yep, and I think that morale element and not getting down on the losses, it probably came a lot from your senior leadership as well. These are people that have seen really good soccer at Georgia College and know that it's coming back as well. So talk to me about those four seniors and what sort of role they played for you this year.
Well, they're very important. I mean, anytime, your seniors bring so much to the program, and three of them gave 4 great years to this program, and I know that they've seen a lot of great wins, a lot of big losses and stuff like that. I think, when you talk to them all, they fully understood how much talent there was, and you talk to all the kids, they understand what the talent level we had this year. And so they, as Karen Bonilla always says, MPA, maintain a positive attitude. And I think that was really important as we went through. And, Tony Moffitt has just been a stronghold for us in that back line ever since I got here. She's played almost every minute of every game. And then Leah Frazier came back fantastic after her torn ACL last year and missing a portion of that. So she came back and contributed quite a bit. And good leadership. They're just very even-keeled kids. They don't, get really worked up or, over one thing or another. And they really were positive. I think Erica Padula coming in as a transfer, it means the world to me that she came to play for me here at Georgia College. She's doing fantastic, as far as graduation. And, I think even though the season was not what you would hope for, I think she's very happy about her decision to come here. So they just brought, just an even perspective to the program. I think they knew the talent that we had and they kept striving for it. And, even when they didn't play every second or start every game, those seniors were positive forces on our sidelines. And I never saw a negative thing out of them. So I'm really proud of them. And that means the world to me, and that provides good leadership as far as where we want our program to go and understanding that there is no I in team and that it's a team first mentality, no matter whether you're playing or starting.
And that, of course, sets the table for a great 2012 coming up next year. Again, as the season has come to a close, we want you to stay tuned to www.gcbobcats.com for the schedule release, probably sometime in the spring, to find out when you can catch the Bobcats again at Bobcat Field next year. Thank you again for being with us all season long here, Hope, and we look forward to hearing more positive things next year. Okay, for Hope Clark, Al Weston, for the Bobcat Coach's Corner.